Good day, and welcome to one of your short lessons during your final project week. So, what we have in front of you here is not Ethan, it is a knight. It's not a black knight, so none shall pass. Nope, not that guy. But it's somebody that is can run left, can run right. Well, technically, running to his right and then running to his left. He can run backward, he can run forward, he can say, "What's down there? Let's go look." There you go. And that's what he is. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to take and utilize a pre-made, pre-rigged object. We'll actually show you a little bit of the rigging. Not we. I will actually show you a little bit of the rigging, and then naturally show you how to swap out your characters, all in the space of less than 10 minutes. Wait, say it again. Less than 10 minutes. Less than 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Well, if I keep going, it's going to be 11. All right, so let's go ahead and I am going to say a brand new project because why not? And when Unity pops up, I have some folders that I've already made in here because that's where I'm working on. I was playing with a little test game. So what I will do is I will take and make a folder and call this one, let's say test game 2. Why not? Because why not? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and select the folder and we'll just call this a tester because this is just a little mini thing for you. I am going to go ahead and say create project, and I'm not going to worry about saving this because I already saved it before and I was playing around with it, and yeah, such as it goes. So Unity is going to close out the previous one and then it's going to load in a brand new thing for me. So I am going to take and make a quickie little terrain. I'm going to keep my terrain flat. Why? Because Ethan has issues when it's not flat. Okay, he gets stuck. Sometimes he bounces wrong. Any number of things. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead. This is a platformer anyway. So we're going to go ahead and keep this pretty darn flat. And we're also going to stop saying we're. Because it's not me. It's just going to, or it's not going to be you. It's just me. So I'm going to go 25 by 25 by, I don't really care the height because it's not going to be a height. But I am definitely going to make sure that I'm just going to stick with those pieces here for the size. I'm going to zoom out so you can see that I made a pretty small one. And when I get to the character piece, I'm going to right click. I'm going to import package. I'm going to choose my characters. And I am going to not import in the ones I don't want. I'm going to turn off rollerball, going to turn off first person character. I'm going to leave the rest. I don't want to change any of the inputs. I don't want to change any of the physics materials. Definitely don't touch the utilities. But I am going to hit, after I turn off first person and rollerball, hit the import button, and I'm going to get Ethan out there. And as you saw in the previous one, I had a couple of sample pieces that were some textures just so I could put some texture on the ground, just because the white kind of bugs me a little bit. I'm going to import those in. I'm going to pause the lecture real fast because I got to go look for them. And I found them and brought them in. There's a normal map and there's a regular map. So I'm going to click on my terrain and give it a quick little texture. Click on the little paint button, edit textures, add one, and then just drag and drop these two little things up there. And I believe that I think I used the size of 1, maybe. I'm not sure. But we'll go ahead and just toss that in there and hit the add. And take and dump Ethan into the scene. I know you're thinking to yourself, wait a sec. Wait a second. You said we're not using Ethan. Well, we're going to place Ethan in there to start with, and we're going to make sure that Ethan runs. And, probably should make sure that I actually have my camera setting. So I'm going to click on my camera, and I'm going to set my camera so that it's under game object aligned with my view. I have the camera selected, so I'm going to be good, making sure Ethan runs forward and backwards and the usual stuff, making sure he's not broken or anything like that. Yes, I see the pattern on my texture, but I'm not going to be having the camera this far away. All right. So when I want to place a new character, the first thing you want to do is you want to get a character. All right. Now here's a key thing you need to know for getting a character. I am going to load in a character that is pre-rigged. What do you mean rigged? Well, let's give you a little introduction to Ethan. So Ethan is it's a prefab, and so where is actually his model at? His model is actually inside the model section. There's Ethan right there. and Ethan is already rigged. He is an animation type that is humanoid, and he has already got a rig. Why do we care about that? Because if we want to swap somebody out for Ethan, we want to make sure that they are a rigged model. Whoa, how do you know? You read the definitions of the asset store when you go to get a model. I'm going into the asset store and I'm going to 3D models and I'm clicking on characters. And I'm going to click humanoids because that's what we're going to concentrate on. All right. I'm going to look for free ones because I'm cheap. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, which one did you use? I used the Strong Knight. When I click on the Strong Knight, in the description, it says rigged character. It's important for you to note that that this is a rigged using the program called Mechanim. I'll introduce you to that. We're not going to spend really too much time on it, but it's rigged, meaning that it has hips and arms and shoulders and toes and hands and all those things all ready to go, which means all we have to do is import it into our system and swap Ethan out. How easy is that? Well, allow me to show you. I'm going to click the import button on this rigged character. When I click the import, the knight will come in, and it sometimes will have a test scene. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to use that test scene, but why not? Anyway, once it gets downloaded into my scene, I'll have to go back out to my assets because it's not going to be inside the same folder where my third-person character is. I'm going to have to go back out to assets, and I'll see a separate folder for the knight. So how do you swap out Ethan for the knight? Well, that part actually is pretty easy. Oh, I got a little yellow thing saying lighting data is incompatible. And that's probably because the knight was, let's see, when was the knight made? The knight was made in March of 2017. That was prior to Unity 2017. So yeah, but the yellow thing is going to be fine for me. So back to what I was talking about before I said, how do I swap Ethan out? To swap out one character for another, as long as the character is rigged, all you really have to do is open up the third-person character and delete Ethan's model and put in the rigged knight model. Where will you find the rigged knight? Well, here's what it will look like. If I open up the knight folder, inside, not the prefabs this time, inside the models. See, if I open up the prefabs, you'll see that there is a whole bunch of stuff that's there, all right? But that's not what I want. I want to take and go into the models, and I want to find the actual knight model because we are having want to make sure that we have something that's rigged. Now, when I click on the knight over in the knight import settings, it'll show that it's rigged. It'll also show that it's set for humanoid. It has to be done like that. Now, if it's not, you sometimes can get lucky and change something. Like if it says none, sometimes you can change it to humanoid. And sometimes you may have to hit the create and configure, and I'll show you what that button does in a moment. But realistically, you just want to make sure that you have a pre-rigged model, because then to swap Ethan out, all you do is this: delete all of the Ethan pieces that are underneath the third-person controller. Get rid of Ethan's body. Hit it says it's going to break the prefab. I'm okay with that. He's still got glasses. Get rid of Ethan's glasses, and naturally get rid of Ethan's skeleton. Take your knight model, drag it up to the third-person controller, let up. Now when you do that, the size may change a lot, but as long as you have the third-person controller as the parent of your new model, then you are almost perfectly there. Now, when I hit OK, you'll see that the knight doesn't, work perfectly. What? See, it's like, what? It's like, what? It's like, what? It's like, what? He does move because the third-person controller is making it move, but he is not animated yet. And while I realize it might be fun to make him run around, it's like, what? This is just not going to work. Game over, man. Game over. So when we swapped him out and we put Ethan in there, it's set for the knight and he's all rigged, but here's one more change you have to do. Click on the third-person controller, and what happens is it's still set for, under the animator, it's still set for Ethan's animator. Now this is a little weird because if you're on the knight, you're going to see that under the avatar it's set for the knight avatar, and that's great inside the knight. But we need to go to the third-person controller, and we need to tell the third-person controller to change the avatar. So I'm going to click on the little button, and I'm going to say I'm no longer going to be using Ethan, I'm now going to be using the knight. And as soon as I do that and I say run, then what will happen is that I now have a completely swapped out change in less than 10 minutes, minutes. Wow! Okay, can he crouch? No, he can't. Oh, he doesn't. I don't have him crouching or doing anything like that. Yeah, well, how come I haven't talked about that? Boy, that gets actually, that's a whole different lesson. I will add that before I conclude this one, please make sure that you look at your Capsule Collider and notice it's really small on the Knight. It's not the right size, so you will probably have to do some adjustments on the models. And you may even need to shrink the model down. I mean, it all depends upon what you're doing. And if you're really not sure, like, where the Capsule Collider goes, load Ethan back up in there. Or make a brand new scene. I actually made a brand new scene, and I put Ethan back in there, and I just am checking out where the Capsule Collider ends. You'll notice it doesn't go too far down below. Why? Because you don't want the Capsule Collider going into the ground. Otherwise, then Ethan will be floating, or your Knight will be floating, or Okay, so I know I said 10 minutes at the beginning, but that was only for swapping. We actually have one more thing left to do, and that is to take and load in a different character and show you that little configure button. Because you might be thinking to yourself, hey, what was that button you said you'd talk about later? Well, that was later. All right, so I'm going to go to the asset store, and I'm going to find a completely different model. Again, making sure that I'm going into 3D models, I'm going into characters, I'm going to do the humanoids because that's what we're looking at. Although you can do robots. You know, there are some robots that are in here. We'll click the free only robots. You might be able to find Kyle. Kyle's actually a pretty good robot to use. And if I were to click on Kyle, I would see that, Kyle is got a rig. There we go. He's also free. He's old. What? Yeah. Been around for a while, actually. I remember doing a tutorial with Kyle at one point. Yeah, I'm not going to use Kyle right now. Go into the free pile. You're thinking, zombies. No. Okay, female warriors. No. Okay, more zombies. How about polite soldier? Maybe that would work. Okay, I don't know, click on Polite Soldier. See if Polite Soldier has a rig. So, hand-painted texture, cartoony look, low poly. Ooh, I don't really like the low poly thing. Characters, and I'm scrolling down, I'm thinking, he's got some polygons, automatic rifle, weapons, and do I see anything about a rig? It really needs to say it up here up top. Okay, yeah, and so you're thinking, could I just load any sort of model? Well, let's just grab this combat character guy. Game ready, low poly soldier with 5 different texture sets, and they have rigs. Awesome. All right, so I click and I load that combat character, even though it says it's a pack. What's a pack mean? It says right there, soldier pack with 5 different texture sets. Okay, texture sets for physical-based rendering and also for unlit materials. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and I'm going to wait till the character guide gets loaded in. And I will also stress that you won't be able to, when you get ready to import something in, and it's getting ready to get loaded, you won't find something in there that says rigged always. If you get lucky and someone named, like under my models here, somebody named the soldier as soldier rigged, then you might be lucky. But realistically, that FBX file doesn't have to be labeled as rigged. You just have to make sure that in the description that is a rigged character. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to import these in. I'll pause this again and I'm going to do the swapping, and then I'll come back with the character already swapped in. Now again, hopefully you didn't sleep through the first part of the lecture and go, well, wait a sec, how'd that guy get there? I went to my third person, I deleted Ethan, I opened up the model of the character, and I drug the character underneath the third person controller. So the character, which is called Soldier Rigged, has a parent of third person controller. This is a case where I have no textures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the materials, and I'm going to look for PBR textures, and I'm thinking I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are materials that are already pre-made. Can I get them onto my model? Drag, drop, let up. Boom. Okay, wait, where's the helmet? Okay, well, I don't know. Drag, drop, let up. Okay, try a different one. Drag, drop, let up. Well, I kind of like that better. And let's do a quick little rotation around of this, and I'm thinking, there's nothing on the face. Drag, drop, let up. Drag, drop, let up. And yeah, that's not bad. Okay, again, it's kind of a low poly model. All right, so like before, if I were to go and run this in my game, then I would find that, yeah, the person's, oh, my camera's really far away. I would find that the person is going to move around, okay, and fall off the edge. But you got to set the avatar. So go over here to the third person controller, click click on the avatar, which you already seen before. Soldier rigged. Great. Get that in there to work. And it's not a bad idea that at some point I'm going to click on the main camera that I've got there, and I'm going to do make the main camera align with the particular view. So I've got the main camera selected, and did the whole game object align with the view, so that way it's set. And before you do anything else, naturally run. Okay. Worst thing you could do is you can load something in and it just doesn't want to work how you want it to. Now, in case you're running something and it doesn't quite work right or something looks off, you can sometimes fix that a little bit. First thing I'm going to do is I notice on my main camera I've got a GUI deprecated thing. I'm going to come over here and get rid of that. Why? Because I loaded up a different, an older project. Yeah. Configuring a character is actually going to involve us looking at the rig. Here's where it's at. In our assets window down below, where we loaded in any particular model, like my combat character, and open up the soldiers folder and open up the models folder, I'm going to click on just the soldier rigged. Over on the right hand side, inside the inspector, there is a model, rig, animation, and materials options that are inside the inspector, again after I selected the model. It will probably show up under model here, and that's where you can kind of play a little bit with the scale factor if you want to scale the model, if it's too big or too small. But I want to show you this thing called rig. You saw it earlier in the lecture. Making sure that a rig is set to humanoid gives it all of the standard humanoid walking, running, jumping, crouching motions that are stored inside the Unity game engine. And while this lecture is going to in no way talk about how you can adjust the actual motions, in case you're wondering, it's called the Unity Mechanism System. If I click the Configure button and I zoom out, what I will see is my model. In fact, I can rotate this model around and you will see the skeletal structure. This is the standard humanoid skeletal structure. It has a spine, it has left leg, right leg, a left arm, right arm, and it even has, if we were to zoom in on the hand, you'll see that it does have fingers. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a sec. Does this character have all the fingers it's supposed to have? Yeah, 4 and a thumb. Okay, I always have to double check that. Whoa, coming at you. Whoa, whoa, come, whoa. All right. Configuring a model is something that that if it's done correctly and if it's rigged right, you should never have to do. But in case you load something in that that doesn't move right, one of the legs doesn't move or something could go off, you may find that the joints might not be quite right. And how do you adjust them? Well, any of these small little triangular looking things, these are called bones, and they're part of the rig. And the bones can be selected, as you'll notice on I'm selecting either on the picture of the humanoid, and it will show that it's selected. It'll go a light blue, or if on the green picture it does that. And you can down below use the transform menu to alter its position. And while I'm thinking to myself, why would I alter the position of the leg? Maybe I wanted to alter the rotation of the leg. And why would I do that? Well, because maybe you have a model that things don't quite match up, and you're thinking, oh shucks, right? Could you do that and then hit apply? And the answer is yes, and then that would be the base position. It will give you a little warning. It says characters not in a T pose. Why do they want characters in a T pose? I'm going to hit the revert button. You always want a character in a T pose because that's the easiest way to stretch out or to set up the skeletons. And then you can let the rotation of the skeletons, which happens with the game engine, kicking in. And this may be something you never ever need to look at, but at least you need to know what that configuration button is in case you load something in and something doesn't quite work right or doesn't look right. And it goes way deeper than I'm going to even attempt to cover in this short little lecture. One of the cool things about Mechanism is that you have the ability to actually control transitions. I'm going to just show you this one last thing. I have the soldier selected in the animator. It's got transitions, like the soldier is grounded, and these items that I'm clicking on, these small little blue, are transitions going from, hey, grounded to crouching, crouching to just being on the ground, ground to being up in the air. And these small little animations are part of what's called a blend tree. And a blend tree, I'll just open this up, shows you everything that's combined in together. And while not even going to attempt to cover it, I at least wanted to show you that, hey, if you dig deep under the hood, you got a lot more controls over throwing in the particular kinds of motions that are there. And you can even download just tons of motions, because most of these are motion captures that are just stored in files. That's really all that they are. If you look at any of the motions that are part of this, they're just motions that are stored. If I click on humanoid idle and I hit the play button, there you go. That's just simply a little motion that's stored. It's not somebody programming keyframes. That's actually a motion capture rig. Anyway, so way beyond what we're going to cover. And that actually is going to end the 10 minutes on how to put your rig in, and another 10 minutes of swapping maybe one more model and diving off the edge. Wow! Because there's water back there. Have fun swapping out your models.